Get the specimen container with label and write the patient identification and the gross examination form. The specimen consists of 3 pieces of creamy white, rubbery texture, irregular shaped pieces of tissues. Next is measuring the length, width, and height of the tissue. Next is writing the gross examination. The final gross examination is the specimen consists of 3 pieces of creamy white, rubbery texture, irregular shaped pieces of tissues, each measuring 2.9 cm, 3 cm, and 9 cm. For the second specimen, it has 2.5 cm, 2.2 cm, and 1.5 cm. And the last specimen have 1.6 cm, 1.8 cm, 0.7 cm. Representative sample in one block. After measuring, next is cutting the parts of the tissue sample that can fit inside the cassette. After cutting, return the tissue in the container. Lastly, write accession number on the cassette before fixation. So this is the accession number SP22738. After accessioning, next is fixation. The most ideal and most common fixative is 10% neutral buffered formalin. After fixation is dehydration. After fixation, leave the tissue sample in a 70% ethanol for 15 minutes. Next, transfer the specimen to a 90% ethanol and leave it for another 15 minutes. Then transfer it to a 90% ethanol and leave it for 25 minutes. After the 90%, transfer the tissue sample in a 100% ethanol for 30 minutes. And transfer the tissue sample again to another 100% ethanol and leave it for 30 minutes. After dehydration, next is clearing. Clearing is also known as dealcoholization. Transfer the tissue sample to another container with saline and leave it for 15 minutes. Do this for another 15 minutes but with other container with saline. And after 15 minutes, transfer the tissue sample again to another container with new saline and leave it for 30 minutes. Next step, after clearing is infiltration or impregnation. After 30 minutes in saline, transfer the tissue sample in station 1 with wax and leave it for 45 minutes. Do this for 3 times, but the next station would be for 45 minutes and the last station would be for 60. After impregnation is the embedding. Now that the specimen is thoroughly infiltrated with wax, it must be formed into a block which can be clamped into a microtome for section cutting. First, find a cassette with tissue specimen and transfer the specimen to a steel mold. Make sure to center the specimen inside the mold. Next, put a paraffin wax, small amount of paraffin wax, and make sure that the specimen are in the center. Then gently press the specimen while the paraffin wax is being solidified. The purpose of this is to prevent the tissue specimen to be positioned at the center of the block. In that way, it will be easier for section cutting. Next is to finally fill up the molder with paraffin wax. Then wait for it to solidify. Don't forget to put the cassette and the accession number on top. Finally, it's solidified, and this is what we call the tissue block. That's it for accessioning, fixation, dehydration, clearing, infiltration or impregnation, and embedding. Thank you for watching.